I have a professor here in African American Studies, Afro 30, and he's interested in the program. I told him we might be of some use to him in his class.
Cool. This is perfect. Have bringing in teachers. So welcome.
Thank you.
So just a quick understanding, and this is what I do when I work with teachers, you guys. So first of all, in your teaching, do you lecture a lot?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Okay.
A lot of lectures.
Very cool. When students leave, would it be helpful if they could hear your lectures and use that to review?
Absolutely. Is that possible?
It is. We just happen to have. We have the tape recorder right here, the
Okay.
digital tape recorder. One of the tools that we do in our program is students teach you how to use this. We digitize your lecture, and then we instantly attach this to the computer,
Okay.
and it turns it into an MP3 file.
Wow.
So then they can go anywhere on any computer, and they can access your lectures.
Right. That's excellent.
Okay. So what else? Do you use a book in your class?
Yeah, we
What
have a
else do you-
standardized textbook that we all use, but I also like to incorporate additional readings via articles, things of that nature from the internet or newspaper articles, and I put them, incorporate those into the curriculum as it applies to our textbook.
Cool. So you guys, okay, if you have a teacher like that mentioning that he's using articles, reading, what tool would you recommend for him?
I would recommend that he link his articles to his review sheet.
But which tools, which digital tool would we use for students to read his articles?
Is it Kurzweil?
Yes.
Wow.
Excellent. Right on, Kathy.
Kurzweil
So what is
dot com.
Kurzweil?
Okay.
What is Kurzweil?
Kurzweil is a text-to-speech program. And so what happens is your students could come in, they could, you could actually put in little notes, and then they could read the articles, or the computer can read the articles for
Wow.
them. And you can leave a little note or a voice note telling them, giving them a few instructions, or either giving them a strategy on how to read.
Wow. So I could actually leave notes with my students
Yes.
to come into
Yes.
the lab
Yes.
and access specific information that they would all have universally through the lab.
And you can go and put your voice into there. It's like a teacher in a text.
Wow.
So let's say you give them the article,
Mhm.
and there's stuff that you want them to study, or there's a certain approach you want them to take
Correct.
on. You can put your voice in there, and then when they open up the article, they click on a note, and they hear you talking to them.
Wow. So meaning, like, if I'm in, say, for example, a chapter 1 in a particular textbook, and I don't want them to memorize the whole chapter,
Right.
but I want them to focus on key components or key aspects of that chapter, I can put a voice note in
Yes.
there saying, focus here.
Yes.
Wow.
And then I would take it the
Yeah.
next step, and I
Yes.
would say, why are you telling the students to do that?
Okay.
So then they can start getting into your head strategically why they shouldn't study the whole thing. So they become less dependent on you telling them that, and more dependent on thinking strategically of like, oh man, I don't have to study. This is not what I should focus on. I should
Right.
focus on the key terms because I know how to do that, not because someone's telling me.
Wow, that's fantastic.
See?
Yeah, no, we could definitely utilize that in the classroom.
Yeah.
So,
And then the students in here all set it up. You bring us your book, or not your book, but your articles. The students will digitize them, and then we'll work with you in putting notes into it, and then we'll come and help guide the students on how to use it. We'll help you, and then the students, as they're using it, they can come in here and get help from us.
wow, excellent.
We
So they can
also-
even get basically one-on-one tutoring.
Exactly, on how to use it and how to access it.
What
And then
about
we can also give them
films?
home access to the text-to-speech program,
Okay.
because that's not online.
Wow, and I do use a lot of film,
Films.
as Miss Kathy had talked about, incorporating historic film into the reading. For example, right now we're doing Amistad as it relates to our textbook, so we're actually viewing that film as well as reading the text. So could we streamline or somehow have pieces of that film?
Is it in YouTube? Is it a YouTube film?
Yes.
Well, if it has a link, we could take that link and hyperlink it to a reading. So let's say you have an article,
Right.
and at that certain point in that article, you want a visual, you want the student to go and to see the video.
Right.
We could hyperlink at that point, so they click on that link, and it takes them right to YouTube.
Wow, that's incredible. I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's excellent.
And
Aren't
then
you
come
glad
back,
I
and then
brought
come
you?
back to their reading.
Right.
Well, and then what was that?
And then they can click off of it and come back to their reading,
To
so
the
they're not
readings.
lost. They're
Right.
not just going
Exactly.
onto a
Yes.
internet and then
Right.
they have to go through all these. They just one
Directly.
step and
Yeah.
then click off and back, and I'll finish my article.
So they'll go directly from the clip back to the
Yes. Yes.
That's what makes it
fantastic.
Right.
exciting.
And the
Okay.
text, when they're reading it, let's say someone needs to hear it, you just click on it and you click on a read button, and the students can they can listen to the text as it's being read to them.
Wow. You know, because we also have a lot of DSPS students in our classroom who sometimes struggle because of
Exactly.
whatever disadvantages they may have. this, you were saying, could read to them?
Yes, and the thing is, it could be DSPS students or anybody.
Wow.
It's no longer just limited to a student with a
Right.
disability. Everyone can make use of it. And then no one gets separated as being different. Everyone's
Right.
a part of the group. Everyone's using the tool how they want to.
Because everyone
You
uses
listen
the
to
same
it. I
technology.
just look at notes. You're just taking notes yourself.
Right.
You're going and examining all the tools and trying different things you want to play with it to create study guides for yourself.
Right.
So,
Excellent. So you mentioned study guides. I'll basically format my own study guides as they relate to the chapter readings. So could I have available on this program my study guides or study reviews?
You could definitely have your own study guides and study reviews.
Mm-hmm.
What I encourage you to do is allow your students to begin to
Yes.
build their own study guides.
Exactly.
And
Teach-
we have the
yes.
tools for them to do that.
Wow.
Yep.
So that they can,
Yes.
you just go in there and you tell them, I need you to, and we've had other professors do it in biology, geography, and so basically what you do is go in and tell them whatever you want them to, highlight. So say you want them to do all the bold definitions, and you want the name and the definition, and then they can highlight all of that, extract it, and make their own study guide.
Wow.
right. And what's cool about that is you're no longer doing the work for the students. You're letting the
Exactly.
students do their own work. And we're all training each other. Renita might know how to do that, and then she's going to show Kathy. So when your students come in here, our students here can help them know how to make study guides.
Right.
So you can just give a lesson, put a note in there saying, when I study, I create a study guide for myself because that helps me understand it.
Right.
So your assignment is you need to learn how to make a study guide. Go into the lab and they'll help you do it.
Wow.
And then we'll be here to help guide them how to make it.
That's excellent. I definitely will look forward to utilizing these resources in conjunction with you all in the